Greetings and welcome. Remember that intro, Blake? Greetings and welcome. Oh, given the live long and prosper from yesterday's or for the Tuesday show.
Well, you said greetings and welcome. So anyway, yeah.
Of course, greetings and welcome. Today
stealing my line, dude. All right, yeah.
I'm paying homage to the line. All right. That's how to think of it. We're paying homage to Blake's earlier programs when he would do Eccentric Perspective on the Freedomizer Radio Network. The good old days. Yeah. All right. Well, today is Thursday, June 6, 2023. My name is Brian Engelman. This is the Agree to Disagree show. This guy is TV's Blake Walley on X. And check out his archive at The Next Level News. Blake, you also do other shows and you have an event coming up. Tell people what it is you do and where they can meet up with you guys. You guys have got a big thing coming up, right? Really soon.
So I do another show. It's called Toxically Masculine Tuesday with Mike Barra, author of Ancient Aliens, as well as Dr. Brooks Agnew. And yes, there's going to be a Spruce Pine Alien Festival in North Carolina this weekend. So I am going to depart for that tomorrow. Yeah, so it'll be an interesting couple of days with the UFO community.
I assume people are able to get tickets to this event. They're able to attend and stay at the hotel for a couple days and see the lectures or something.
I mean, if you guys are in, Charlotte or Asheville or Knoxville or somewhere in the area, yeah, you could probably make it out there. Check for tickets and reservations because it's a small town. So they tend to get filled pretty quickly. So make sure you have lodging and accommodations and that sort of thing. But yeah, if you guys are interested in UFO aliens and that stuff, and you want to come meet and greet with the three of us and other speakers, you are certainly welcome. We would love to see you there.
Now, are you guys all going to speak? Is just Mike or is Brooks or a combination?
Well, they're both going to speak. I'm not really I'm not into the alien community that much. I'm interested in it, but I wouldn't be an expert of any sort to speak there.
Well, I don't know if you're planning on doing it, but it'd be super cool if you did a live show together from there. That would be awesome. If it's not planned, you should bring it up to the guys. That'd be a neat idea.
Well, last year they were on Jesse Waters' show, Mike Barra and his friend Tom, who was an abductee back in the day. So that was interesting. Tom Reed, yes, some interesting characters. So I don't know if they're going to be back on there or Vox and Friends. They did make a couple of appearances last year, so maybe we'll see that again. I don't know how the internet is going to be. Perhaps we will.
Yeah, it'd be super cool. Be super cool. All right, well, go out and check that out if you're near Charlotte, would you? I love the alien community. I love the ancient aliens topics. I used to go to all those conscious life expos. Blake and I have been to several over the years when we were both in Los Angeles. But yeah, fun event. Cool. Check it out and maybe even a live show from there. All right. On today's episode of the Agree to Disagree show, we're going to discuss the following topics. We're going to talk about Steve Bannon. Does he deserve to be imprisoned for contempt? Peter Navarro, he deserves to be imprisoned for contempt. And we're going to ask, do you agree or disagree with these statements? Also, it's time to worry about the avian flu, the testing, and the lockdowns. Agree or disagree? Also, it's very reasonable to think Trump will become a dictator. Do you agree with that? Or are they confusing justice with dictator? I think they're scared. We'll discuss. Also, Caitlin Clark, that lady baller, is she being targeted for being straight and for being white? Some people are saying so. What do you say? Also, agree or disagree that deep state agents should flee the country if Trump wins. And Joe Biden in France, D-Day. Well, do we have to change the meaning of that from other D-Day to Diaper Day? I don't know. We're going to talk about the grossest story you're going to hear all day. But we'll do it on the other side. This is the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media.
Yes.
All right. So we are here on the Agree to Disagree show, and we want to talk about the number one topic. Blake, Steve Bannon deserves to be imprisoned for contempt. Would you agree or disagree with that statement? Steve Bannon deserves to be imprisoned for contempt. And also, the second one, look right there. I just changed the first name, Peter Navarro. So you can start talking about Bannon. Maybe I'll talk about Navarro. Take it away, sir. What say you?
All right. Well, I will disagree on both counts. No, it's ridiculous charges, but they want to make an example of these guys, get their guys somehow, some way. They wanted to put them up in front of that ridiculous J6 committee, which is been disbanded, and they should turn the tables on them because they were hiding evidence. Clearly, it was a kangaroo court, a show trial. They knew that they were going to be, set up to get, targeted for something. So they're just like, I'm not going to deal with this. And as far as Steve Bannon was concerned, he was protected by executive privilege from Donald Trump, but I guess they said no. So it's been ongoing for quite a while, but now it appears to be they kind of waited, maybe, perhaps, or it's a coincidence that they're going to put him in 4 months. Or for 4 months, and of course it's right up to the election, so it also kind of reeks of election interference as you take away one of Donald Trump's biggest allies in the media world, Steve Bannon, and you take him off the table these last few months before the election, this historic election. So interesting to note.
The chess pieces are definitely being targeted right now. Let me just hit you with this little clip. It's important context. The person posted this from Ultra MAGA Party. What happened to Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro when they decided to defy a subpoena of Congress? Let's just kind of get some perspective on what Biden's ilk are getting away with when real crimes are happening, real treason, real dereliction of duty, real incompetence, real election interference, everything you could imagine they are actually doing, and it's very easily provable. Meanwhile, the other side's getting targeted because they can get away with it. Let's watch this clip.
You went on to say that certain members of the committee and the Oversight Committee are seeking contempt. You're aware that a majority of this committee has marked up a contempt resolution, aren't you, sir?
Certain members includes the majority, yes.
It's a big difference, isn't it, sir? Isn't that significant? The fact that a majority of the committee charged by the Congress to inquire into the grounds for impeaching the President of the United States has marked up a contempt resolution. That's more important than certain members, isn't it, sir?
Majority.
Institutionally, more important.
A majority has sought contempt, yes.
You said that you will not be intimidated. Are you the arbiter?
I'm sorry?
Are you the arbiter?
I'm sorry.
The decider of whether or not those tapes will be provided to this Congress at the subpoena of its committee to investigate the president?
The Constitution requires me to protect the separation of powers.
Well, let me ask you this question. What happened to Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon when they decided to defy a subpoena of the Congress?
We received 4 referrals, criminal referrals. 2 were prosecuted, 2 were not. The 2 that were prosecuted, as the published court opinions make clear.
What will happen to you if your decision is based?
May I continue to answer?
No, I know what happened. You know what happened too. Mr. Navarro is in prison. What will happen to you if your sole determination that you're not going to cooperate with this committee subpoena is?
Back to the 2 people you asked, the court made clear they did not comply in any way, did not even appear, and second, there was no executive privilege. Neither of those is true in my case.
If a future Department of Justice follows the facts and the law, as you're fond of reciting, even to the point of prosecuting the former president, then if your decision is baseless, you should be prosecuted, right? Sure,
I hope they will follow the law.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, I hope so too. I really can't get over the fact that we are not applying consequences to people when they are going above and beyond their jurisdiction. They're going above and beyond the constitutional reach of the guidelines with which they are allowed to make determinative calls. The stuff that is happening with no punishment, the violent crime happening across the country, the border being intentionally wide open for millions to flood in, to fill cities, take benefits that belong to our citizens, our veterans. The real crimes that are happening with Garland, Mayorkas, with Biden, with Hillary, with Obama, with all of it. And they're all getting away with all of it, Blake. All of it.
Far.
All right, tell me about this plan and why I should trust it. Give me some hopium, because I'm not seeing it. We're supposed to wait on the greatest reveal, the biggest sting operation in the history of mankind, because it kind of just looks like MAGA's getting their ass kicked left and right every day. How many more years are you supposed to just ignore blatant criminal activity, mob activity?
That's it. This election. That's it. If it's contentious and contested and it's BS and we all know it, and these people are trying to stay in power because they know that there could be potential retaliation, and they've set that precedent. So if they're going to go after these guys, then if the other side gets into power, then they can persecute those guys. So they know this is as high stakes as it's ever been. So if we're unable to say win the next election, and we question the results, and everybody's like, this is BS. So they stop counting in the middle of the night, and they find ballot dumps, and whatever. There's another pandemic, what have you, and they're not doing signatures, or they're granting mass amnesty to all these illegals and letting them vote, and what have you. Or shady, machinery counting the votes, and we can't see. There's no oversight. There's no canvassing. If we can't agree on the results, and these guys stay in power, and they're going to continue to do this unconstitutional lawfare against patriots, then the gloves are off. Then we have to have some kind of a national divorce, a nice peaceful resolution. But if that doesn't work, then we could be looking at an actual civil war next, and it's us or them.
And here we are. We had a good run, right? We had a good run as humanity. We had a good run as Americans. We had a good run of liberty lovers, as being those things that just seem so quaint, so antiquated, so foreign to us now. I want to read you this on X. This is from Representative Mike Collins. By the way, if you're not following the New American Media on X, we are at American_media_. Make sure you're following us, please. Like our content, share our content, engage with our content. Representative Mike Collins from Georgia is asking this question. Pretty basic. Department of Justice gave Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon jail time for not showing up to Congress. What will James and Hunter get for false statements and perjury? No one is above the law, right? So, Blake, what do you expect? Do you expect anything to happen? The Republicans have the House, and they do nothing with it. They don't use any of their power. They don't shut off any of the funding. They don't smoke these corrupt agencies out by freezing them out of the funding. They fund foreign wars that nobody's asked us to fund. The people of this country overwhelmingly want nothing to do with this stuff. And they just do whatever they want to do. And it all seems like it's designed to not just not help America. It feels like it's designed to harm America.
Right. I hear you, Brian. I'm kind of just giving it this last go for this election. And if the kleptocracy stays in power and nobody's able to do anything, then I might just give up completely. I'm going to fend for myself and have my best life in a red state, and just I don't know what else I can do anymore. So it's bad. So hopefully it's peaceful national divorce. Go to states, and if that doesn't work, and if we just have this overbearing, criminalized federal government that's out of control, then I don't see the purpose of even getting involved anymore. It's just it's sad to see the end of the republic, the end of our civilization. But I mean, I feel like I've volunteered and sacrificed enough over the last 12 years, and I don't seem to be. I don't know. People aren't listening to me. I feel like this is easy to see. This is common sense, but you just have half the country, or seems like, or that just refuses to see a different perspective on this, and just doesn't seem to care. Or maybe they're just embracing this new change, which is going to be much different than the republic that we've set up and we've embraced, that's allowed us to survive and thrive the last couple hundred years. And we're going to throw this entire American experiment away, our Bill of Rights and Constitution, and we're going to be something completely different, which is going to lead to a tyranny, dystopia, and I don't know if a new dark age for humanity. And I don't know if there's ever a way to get out of it. And it's sad. Try.
You know what? I think that there is a little bit more hope. I don't think people in the major metropolitan areas actually vote Democrat in these massive numbers. I think they've just found a way to rig the system. I don't buy that people are consistently voting against their best interests. I don't believe it. I think that there are, you look at the map, the red and the blue, the sane and the crazy. Just look at the color-coded map. It's a sea of red with a couple of dots in major metropolitan areas. That's it. You got some states that are a little more purple, a little more even than others, but it's a red country. I don't think that we're getting actual numbers, but we've had 3.5 years here now, Blake, and what have they done to secure the election? What has the Supreme Court decided so that illegal aliens who are in the country cannot vote? Like what have we done to safeguard the elections while Biden, Harris, Pelosi, Obama, everybody on that side, on the globalist side, the Alex Soros side, the deep state CIA, NSA side, they're pushing the opportunity for potential fraud. And we have no ruling on this stuff. But I don't know. I'm kind of mixed because I really don't think, after going to the Bronx and talking to these people, I really don't think they're voting against their best interests. I think those elections are pretty well manhandled by the apparatus. And I'm conflicted on this, Blake.
Well, I hope you're right. It's refreshing to see some people from the Bronx agreeing with you. But, there's a lot of liberals. I have really smart people in my own family who would probably just think I was a crazy right-wing extremist voting for a criminal in Trump. And no matter what I say, they're not going to listen. It's weird. It's just like people are under a spell. I thought this would be very easy to, get involved with media, speak common sense, embrace critical thinking skills, and people would, see reason and, be able to change their opinion. But they don't. I mean, I heard a story about Socrates. I was reading a thread about that, who was an outspoken philosopher in ancient Greece. And he didn't try to dictate what people thought. He just wanted people to think critically. And he would say that. But people hated him. They learned to hate him so much, they had him drink poison to kill him. They killed Jesus. The people that are trying to hey, let's band together and do freedom and, embrace thinking and change and stand up to tyranny. And it's like they would rather just go along with the crowd, and they will. I don't know. It's amazing. I don't understand it, but even smart people are just unable to change their opinion. They want to believe something so badly. Or there's with the Mark Twain quote that it's easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they're being fooled. I feel like I could have the same conversation with my family, and it would never register. They would just get angry, and they're not going to go, "Hey, yeah, Blake, that's a great point. Maybe that the media is not telling us the truth, even though they've been hoaxed. I don't know how many times out of the last several years." It's just people want to believe what they want to believe, and they cannot believe that they've been lied to.
Well, here's something, Blake.
Yeah.
That is hard to believe. Let me share this with you. This is put out by the Biden-Harris campaign. Donald Trump confirms plans to jail opponents. Reeling and increasingly unhinged from his own felony convictions, Trump raising plans. What does that mean? Trump raising plans to jail his political opponents is just the latest proof that he will do anything to regain power, preserve his own freedom, and seek revenge on anyone who opposes him. Trump is pledging to rule as a dictator on day one, punish his enemies, embrace violence done on his behalf, and warns of a bloodbath if he loses. My God, this stuff, Blake, this is so disingenuous. The warning signs are clear for all to see. Trump is a danger to our Constitution, a threat to our democracy, and so consumed by his own failed, diminished state, he has gone off the deep end. Blake, can you believe that this was posted unironically? Kerry says, Peter Navarro is where? And then Kyle Becker says, the Biden-Harris campaign just tweeted this while jailing its political opponents. Blake, I mean, these Democrats have zero self-awareness.
Right. And they've got their followers under a spell, and they'll go along with anything they say. And it's amazing. Yeah, it should be so obvious and transparent, yet for some, it's still not. But it's right there on display. And they are panicking. They are terrified of Trump getting back into power because they know they've set the precedent. And so it's going to be fair game to turn the tables on them. And they were pushing hoaxes. I mean, obviously they could never prove that Trump was a Russian agent on the payroll of the Kremlin. It was ridiculous, and so many other things that they try to crucify him for, and all these trials,
all while spying on him. By the way, they've been framing Trump for 9 years. Don't forget they framed him so that they could get FISA warrants to spy on him. Like, this is what Obama and Hillary did. Obama, Biden, Hillary, they should all be facing treason charges. I said this before. There's a difference between Coach Jim Harbaugh with the University of Michigan and maybe Bill Belichick, the head coach of the New England Patriots. You kind of try to study what the other team's signs are on the sidelines. You try to get the code and crack the code, just like if you're listening on Telegraph or, World War II, what do they call those, the wind talkers or something? They had like Navajo or indigenous
code breakers.
Yeah, code breakers and stuff.
The Enigma.
I can understand to a certain point where someone would want to try to gain an advantage, so you try to figure out what the other group is up to. But it gets different when the Houston Astros are filming it and telling you in real time by banging on a trash can, fastball or breaking ball. They're wired. They have little diodes attached to them. If they get a little jolt, they know it's going to be a curveball. Like, there's going past a little bit of one-upsmanship and advanced strategic research. There's regular politics. And then there's kind of what other teams did, like the Houston Astros went too far, where the Pittsburgh Steelers, where Minka Fitzpatrick intentionally dove and put his helmet into the knee of the Browns running back Nick Chubb to explode that knee. If a play is something you would not do to your own team in practice, it's a dirty play. And that was the dirtiest play from the dirtiest team that we've seen in the National Football League. Also, the New Orleans Saints. They were
Brian, is everyone going to get these references? All right.
They were paying people to injure their opponents. They were giving you $10,000 if you can blow out the knee of the opposing wide receiver. There is one-upsmanship. There's coaching, and there's trying to get a leg up, and there is trying to injure, harm, and ruin the lives and the careers of other people. So what the Democrats got away with in 2020 was kind of, I can't believe they were able to game the system on the drop boxes, on the mail-ins, the signature verification. There's a laundry list of things that were done all across the board, on top of it not having a real easy way to audit those machines. And you're like, oh my gosh. But then what they've just done to Navarro, to Bannon, to Trump, to actually kidnap and imprison and cage them, maybe in an effort to Epstein them, They've crossed the line. These players need to be kicked out of the league for good. They need to suffer consequences. They have committed crimes, and they need to be dealt with. So I think we have definitely seen in the last year, we have seen the deep state Democrats go completely crazy. And all that's missing now is some sort of actual justice, that what is being called dictator type skills, dictator type tendencies, rather. It's not about being a dictator. It's about meting out actual justice for legitimate crimes. And I think that's what the Democrats, with the deep state, what they're mostly concerned about right now is them having to pay for the crimes that they've committed. And we'll make that the next topic here. I hope some people get the reference. There's intentionally injuring your opponents, which is what you should be taken out back to the woodshed for. Isn't that what Joe Biden said about Trump? Right? Take him out behind the woodshed.
You might remember Bounty Gate.
The other team is intentionally injuring the players that they're competing against. You're in criminal activity. You are so far out of the range of what's acceptable. So I hope they'd understand that reference. I think
they might remember the Bounty Gate stuff. I don't know if they get all of your obscure, Cleveland Brown references or Micah Fitzpatrick or any of that, but that's all good. I hear you.
They can go to YouTube and watch these dirty ass plays from these dirty ass players on these dirty ass teams. It's clear to see the Steelers
personal biases against Michigan and Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, I don't like that team up north. I don't even like saying the M word. Okay, Blake, agree or disagree? It's very reasonable to think that Trump will become a dictator.
I'm going to say no, but, I'm not crazy like Chris Matthews. We talked about him the other day. Thrill up his leg.
Thrill up his leg, yes.
Yeah, blast from the past. Let's check this out. Yes, it's everybody panicking. MSNBC dope Chris Matthews says it's very reasonable to assume that Trump will become a dictator. See, this is, it's with the Democrats. They hear this and they believe it, and they want to believe it. I mean, I guess the people that are still watching this. So the old relic, perhaps best remembered for saying that Obama sent a thrill up his leg in 2008, recently appeared with Morning Joe to sow fear over Donald Trump. And let's just roll this clip here. Remember Chris, good old hard.
I'm telling you, Trump could end up rolling the score. I've got the Congress. I've got the Supreme Court. I own it all. I am a dictator. It's very reasonable to assume that's where he's headed.
No, I mean, the one quote that he said was that he would be dictator for a day, like the first day when he gets to sign the executive orders, just like Resident Joe did when he took office. And he had just a pile of books on his desk, and he went one by one and signed them all like a dictator. That's what they do on day one. They throw out a few executive orders, but to say that he's actually, now that I'm in charge of everything, I'm going to do this and this and that. But hey, it's fair game to retaliate against the people that tried to imprison and destroy you and everybody you knew, all your friends and family, sent everybody to the ringer for make-believe Russian collusion. Yeah, you know what? It's time to turn the tables, and he gets that right. But to say that he's dictator, it's just fantasy.
Yeah, I do think that they are very concerned. I mean, if the Nuremberg trials wouldn't let people off by saying I was just doing my job, I think there's a lot of media lackeys who are definitely going to be facing the same coup and treason charges. They've known exactly what they're doing, and it's above and beyond just trying to gain an advantage, above and beyond just trying to win in the cable ratings, overthrowing a president in a coup with the 51 intelligence officials. By the way, did you notice that the Hunter Biden laptop was accurate? 51 intelligence officials were lying to you. By the way, they're not former intelligence officials because there's no such thing. It's like there's no former Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. They lied to you. They manipulated reality so that they could try to retain power in 2020, to seize power away from Donald Trump. If that's not a coup, I don't know what is. They should be terrified. And it reminds me of this. Real quick, it just reminds me of this Simpsons quote. Go ahead, Blake. What was the point you were going to make? I'll leave this up.
Well, yeah, both the Biden kids, they've confirmed both of these. Yeah, they're huge hoaxes. That Hunter Biden's laptop was real, and so was Ashley Biden's diary, showing that her father is a pedo. And of course, Hunter is a full-blown crackhead. The other brother died. I mean, what a shitty scumbag family. I'm sorry. It's terrible. And it all starts at the top. And Joe...
Yeah, and once again, to be clear, Ashley Biden was the victim of abuse. The only thing you can look at her in disgust would be, man, I get like trying to protect your family, but when you got a monster that's abusing people, you do have a bit of a responsibility to keep him from doing it to others.
No,
but
they grew up like that.
And Hunter was a victim of Joe as well. Like, the guy's creepy. Like, the compilation of him touching women and touching kids that instantly recoil as if being touched by a lizard or a demon. It's so obvious that this guy is a complete monster. That, objectively speaking, politics aside, Blake.
Wasn't Jill like the 15-year-old babysitter at one point? Yeah, she's not the actual mother. I don't know. It's such a screwed up family. But yeah, that's makes you wonder that this whole family is compromised.
Yeah. Well, anyway, talking about panic, it reminded me of this Simpsons quote. I think this is where the giant ants were coming in, and we have to get ready for our new alien overlords. And Kent Brockman asks the professor, "Professor, would you say it's time for our viewers to crack open each other's skulls and feast on the goo inside?" Yes, I would, Kent. Yes, I would. Yeah, it just that's how my brain thinks, Blake. It's in cartoonish little clips.
Everything in Simpsons and Cleveland Browns references.
You're not wrong about that. So yeah, as far as Trump becoming a dictator, look, Lord willing, he's going to have a real Department of Justice. He's going to have some people that will indict all of the ones who have done so wrong in their official capacities over the past 20 years. The stuff that's been happening is blatantly, it is completely detrimental to our nation. And the fact that they have gone to such extremes at this moment, thinking they're completely bulletproof, thinking they will never face any retribution or justice for the literal crimes that they're committing. Fauci, for all of the lies that he's provided everybody, forcing kids to be tortured in those masks that had no efficacy, based on nothing, 6 feet apart, making $700 some million in commissions on the product that you're selling, while at the same time you're pushing away therapeutic options like monoclonal antibodies, hydroxychloroquine, and ivermectin. These people deserve indictments, fair trials, convictions, and the maximum punishable sentence allowable. So, Blake, am I supposed to trust a plan? Do you think there's a plan in place? Do you think they've got this under control? Do you think this is just the biggest sting operation in the history of the country? Everything's about to change.
No, I wanted to believe that. I got to find that meme now that you mentioned that I found on the interwebs. So let me pull that up real quick, and then we'll. Here we go. I got it right here. Here you go, Brian. Is it pulled up? Here we go.
I don't see it yet.
That's the plan. The arrests are coming anytime now, Brian. Just watch your phone for the alert message. 2 more weeks. We are winning. Absolutely, Brian.
You know, if
I recall, day now.
If I recall correctly, I believe you played this on Toxically Masculine Tuesday. Am I close?
Did.
All right, I do recall that.
For a long time. This has been since going 2021. Hello, Nimbus. How you doing, buddy?
I know he's kind of leaning on my arm.
Yeah, now. Yep.
He's like that owl from the Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pops commercial. How many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop? 1, 2, 3. 3. So Nimbus, he'll be very nice, and then he'll chomp. It's what he does. He'll play, and then bite. So I got to be very careful.
Yep.
If I end up yelping, please understand that it was deserved. It wasn't just, it wasn't me being wimpy. Okay.
He's a funny cat. He's quite a character, but yeah. He's so sweet. You pet him, and all of a sudden, Like, what? What's that for? And he'll leave and he'll come back and he'll like apologize. Like, sorry.
And you were his primary caretaker for a little while. That's right. I mean,
I did.
You know this
for
as
about
much
a year or
as anybody
something.
else.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, then let's move on from this topic. By the way, make sure you're following Blake on X. He's at TV's Blake Walley, and check out his archive at thenextlevelnews.com. Also, the place if you want to support Blake doing what he does, it is right here. Go to Cash App. It's the money sign Blake W99. Cash App, money sign Blake W99. All right.
Yeah.
Now, next topic here. We're going to move on from this
Jocelyn
one.
here. She's making enchiladas while she's listening to the show. She says the arrests are coming right after the Jassara Nassara. God, I want to believe this. I do.
Right after, really why'd you say Nassara?
This Jassara Nassara. It's this alleged financial reset sort of a thing. It may happen. It may not. It's we've been trusting this plan and waiting a very long time. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen unless Trump can get back into office. Unless the good guys, the Patriots are really in control and they are in all the positions of power. Then I think these things could potentially happen. I would like to believe in this idealized future that we have. I'm just I've been losing my faith and hope for too long now, and this is my last election, and then I don't know what happens after this. This is, like I said, it's national divorce or civil war.
I mean, it might be time to flee. I don't know where you flee to, but I mean,
Jesus floods the earth again.
If anybody on the wrong side gets indicted, you change existing law just to snare more people into your trap, turn misdemeanors into felonies when you're turning felonies into misdemeanors. Yeah, I mean, you're being actively hunted by your own government. I remember Scott Adams said that several years ago, and it was like, I'm used to him saying parabolic. That's not the word I'm looking for. Hyperbolic, some sort of bolic. I'm used to him saying provocative things, but I mean, they are literally hunting MAGA right now. And there's only so much time that you can spend in a upside down place before you need to flee. I've been begging people to flee blue cities, flee blue states. They hate you. They don't like you. They're actively hunting you to harm you, to cage you, to jail you, to imprison you, to ruin your life, to make you poor. If not worse. Yeah, it can get worse than that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happens after this election, but hopefully it'll be a massive 50-wave red tsunami with a little bit of voting accuracy this time. It should be the most lopsided win in American history, if not on this side of the Mondale election with Reagan. By the way, hello to Kenneth. K Nassara, Gassara, whatever will be. Yeah, that's a song, right? Also want to say thanks to Jocelyn. Good to hear from you. Glad you're feeling better. Keep up the good work and stuff. Okay, we will roll into the next topic right now. All right. Now, I might be more concerned if we were going to be talking about a kitty cat flu. Since I thought
we were going to go with the fleeing one with the deep states. Kind of unknown. Yeah, they're talking about leaving. We're talking about leaving. But why don't we make a quick one? We don't need to go and have a big discussion onto it. But in the nature of, since we're kind of on that topic already.
Yeah, Blake, I agree. It's a much better segue. It was just lower in the list, and I didn't see it. Agreed. So
no worries.
Let's talk about the deep state agents. Should they flee the country if Trump wins? Do you agree or disagree that they should flee instead of us? It really comes down to who wins the presidential election, right? Who's going to flee? Someone's got to flee.
It's never been this high stakes. We have people joking about how they were going to flee to Canada or something if Trump won. But we had 4 years of Trump, and it wasn't that bad.
It was really good until they unleashed the Fauci virus. Can we call it the Fauci virus now?
I guess, yeah. Why not?
Okay. When
go for
the economy, the country was running great until they unleashed the Fauci virus.
Yeah, it was. And I thought it was going to be clearly a landslide victory, and then they stopped counting votes in the middle of the night.
Up by hundreds of thousands of votes in 6 different states.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pepperidge Farm is old enough to remember. Yeah, we remember. We know exactly what you did.
Right. So,
oh, by the way, I was supposed to have this on the screen. Where did it go? Maybe I didn't have it pulled up. Anyway, for countervailing views, go to cisa.gov/rumor control regarding our topic of elections. They want you to be convinced that this was the only completely secure, 100% accurate election in the history of elections. And you're not supposed to be able to even utter criticism of that. I disagree. So get their countervailing views by going to cisa.gov/rumor control. Also, regarding all of the Fauci stuff, go to who.int because they have their propaganda, which will tell you their side of the story. Also, go to cdc.gov or cdc.gov/vaccines, specifically regarding vaccine-related medical claims and political implications. You can read all of that in the light blue, the turquoise ticker at the bottom of the screen. I say this under duress because they make you say this if you want your stuff to be on Meta or Google or YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of those places. Blake, please continue.
No, it's amazing that the most secure election ever was the one with all of the millions of mail-in ballots and all of the ballot dumps in the middle of the night.
And the signature verification that didn't happen.
Who am I to question that? Clearly, CISA is...
It's obviously completely legitimate.
Right.
Yeah.
So, speaking of legitimate or illegitimate or what have you, we have FBI Chief Andrew McCabe with... do you think this person is trans? And I'm not even poking. It's Pride Month, so I don't know. This is Caitlin Collins.
Hold on. You're telling me Caitlin Collins is a guy that's dressed as a woman?
What do you think? I don't know. You look at the jaw and the neck. And I'm not saying I don't care whether it is or not. I'm not judging here. But
well, do you remember Caitlin Collins from before today?
No. Well, no. She's been around for like a year or something.
Yeah, she interviewed Trump directly, and she tried to be all snarky with him, and it backfired.
Yeah. She says she's not partisan, but she clearly is.
Well, like most
she's a CNN hack.
But hold on, you think she might be trans? That's the first I've heard of that. But
what? That is not the no way.
The first, and we also have a Caitlin Clark story coming up later, so we could debate it on there as well. But I've never heard that play.
I mean, maybe she. I don't care whether she is or isn't. I mean, but look at the neck and the jaw. It's just there's something a little off. I don't care, but I just figured I'd point that out. I don't know why.
All right,
because it's there on my screen and I can't get it out of my head. I'm like, is that a dude? Is that something? I don't care. Yeah, just be the first trans commentator. I don't care. All right, lovely young lady Caitlin on CNN interviewing deep state former FBI chief Andrew McCabe, is freaking out, saying that some agents will flee the country if Trump wins because they fear they will be thrown in jail. So
go to Argentina.
That have been trying to throw Trump in jail for a bunch of made-up bullshit are worried that they might be thrown in jail for spreading made-up bullshit. The 51 intelligence agents. Not that that's even all them, but there's a lot of really corrupt elements. Right? I hate these camera angles. I don't know why we do those. You set it up like this. Okay, that looks better. All right.
We have limited options on our camera angles, and we both produce the show, so it's a little fly by the seat of our clicking finger.
Right. So so the deep state agents are fearing being thrown in jail or grabbed in some sort of extrajudicial detention if Trump returns to the Oval Office. When you think about these things and you try to predict how Donald Trump is going to react, are the steps he's going to take, you really don't have to go any further than listening to the things he says and does. I mean, listen to the other people on the other side. I don't know.
It's great to have you here because few people know the inner workings of the FBI better than you do. And you've also personally experienced the pressure from Donald Trump. And when you see him promising this wholesale takeover of the Justice Department, I wonder
He said he was colluding with the Russians.
How do you worry about what that would look like?
Exactly.
Yeah, Caitlin, I mean, I worry a lot about it.
You should.
And I think it's, when you think about these things and you try to predict how Donald Trump is going to react or the steps he's going to take, you really don't have to go any further than listening to the things he says and does.
They're trying to put him in jail right now. They just charged him with, 34 felonies? And nobody can really explain how those are felonies or what the charges exactly are. And they're still trying to get him from other court cases. They are trying to destroy him, his life, his friends and family for years. They're wondering, oh, gee, I wonder if, how would we predict? Well, how would you react? I mean, this is amazing. And turnabout is fair play. And there was no there. So he has every right. We should be going after these people who have been spreading lies and hoaxes and have been putting innocent people in jail and destroying lives, spying on them. It's amazing. So let's see. So flee now. I don't know.
I mean,
they should.
Comments recently are offensive and horrendous, but they're not surprising in any way. He's been saying this for quite some time. I will be your retribution is his refrain to his supporters. So, you know him, you know what motivates him. He is not a person who is driven by principle or ideology. He is someone
no principle, huh?
Right. So, Brian, seriously, if you had to guess, it's $1 million question. Is
no
that
principle and no ideology? Sorry.
Right.
Okay. Who's entirely transactional.
Wait.
And if he feels like he's been wronged in some way.
Or what's her face?
Yeah. Look, she's got a wider jaw and neck than he does.
Then he
I don't care.
Focuses on
the shift style pencil necks on the other side. Like they kind of crank them out of like a pencil neck factory. These are not the most masculine of men. These are very subservient bottoms, if you will. They're not used to being in charge. They're used to taking commands, taking orders, taking money, taking bribes, taking directives. They don't really think. They're told what to do. These are little pencil neck goobers that have little Napoleon complexes. So yes, I can see what you're saying there, but why you got me thinking about her?
Not judging. It's weird looking at her now. I don't know.
All right.
But I could be wrong. I don't want to be mean. But it's Pride Month anyway. So we'll keep rolling here.
Vengeance. And so he's made it perfectly clear that that's what he's going to do. And in the process of seeking that, he is going to he runs the risk of really dismantling and greatly incapacitating the Department of Justice and the FBI. And that is something that Americans on both sides of the political aisle should be worried about.
It's something we're demanding because you have been framing him for 9 effing years. You're done. My God, enough is enough. You're fired. And by the way, get ready to be indicted. You've earned it. We didn't ask for this. We didn't want to be led into poking the Russian bear into a World War III because he had to steal Burisma energy money to give to Hunter and 10% to the big guy through Obama and Hillary. And like, what the hell are we doing? The entire game plan and strategy from the left is just destructive. It is demonic. It is backward. It's broken. Yeah, this little pencil neck better be worried.
No, I agree. So if I was involved in trying to frame the president as a Russian spy and
for 9 years, not just once, for 9 years they've been framing him.
Right. Yeah. No, the top of the FBI's got to go, and then I'm sure there's some good people in there, but there's all these like order followers that are going to go along and just follow this corruption. And go after good people. So it's amazing. I don't know. Yeah. I don't get it, but here we are. And yes, these need to be these CIA, FBI. They got to go through these and do a big house cleaning. And yeah, if they're involved in the corruption, you better leave because I want them all to get a fair trial. But at the end of that fair trial, if you've been, pushing lies and perpetuating hoaxes and following orders from corrupt people, then you're going to deserve whatever happens to you.
Right. All right. Do we have any more of McCabe, or are we pretty much extinguished on this?
Let's let it go. I think that's enough. Yeah.
We know who they are and what they're up to, but now you got me questioning who that person is on the left. Thanks a lot, Blake. All right.
I'm just, I can't get my eyes off of it. It's weird. And then, again.
I mean, more power to you.
This is a no judging.
This is a no judgment zone. You're like one of those
person.
fitness companies. This is a no judgment zone. Okay.
Right.
Good.
She can use whatever bathroom she wants. I don't care. You go for it, Caitlin. All right.
Well, okay. All right. Next topic. All right, Blake, you keep mentioning Caitlin. Would you like to go to the Caitlin Clark story next? I know we've had avian flu on deck for a while.
Yeah, why not?
Hearing Caitlin.
And it's Pride Month again. Let's bring this one up.
All right, here we go. Blake, agree or disagree that Caitlin Clark is being targeted for being straight and white? Agree or disagree? Caitlin Clark, the lady baller, is being targeted for being straight and white.
How about you? You start with Brian. What do you agree? Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, look, can we all think back? Let's hold on. Let's all think all the way back if we can. 1997-ish.
Camera angle.
I know you don't like this camera angle. You like this one. Okay. Let's think back to 1997. Do you remember when Tiger Woods was being cussed at on the course? Tiger Woods was being spit at, and people are running out of their, like they're running at them aggressively, and they're cussing in their face, and they're fouling them and hurting them and hip checking them and shoulder checking them. I mean, that's just what happens in competition, right? In 97, Tiger, is Tiger all black or half black? He was half black, half Asian.
Half black,
right?
half Asian, right.
I only remember that from the Chappelle show.
Right. Yeah,
I remember
exactly.
that they did the Asian and black draft, the race draft. God, that was a funny episode. But Tiger was half black. And remember how like all of the golfers like assaulted him and tried to hurt him and were swearing in his face because he was a black guy going into a white league, and it just he didn't belong there. So they were just kind of roughing him up a little bit to show him the ropes. Do you remember that?
Yeah, a little bit. And I've always thought golf was a douchey sport, but I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
Like they didn't do that. They didn't do that.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay, good. All right. Well, good. Because I was worried there. We was like,
No.
did that really happen? I don't remember. Okay.
They didn't. I think the worst was Fuzzy Zeller. It might have been him, might have been somebody else. By the way, check out the Unhappy Hour sports show. I do a sports show as well, so I usually go back to sports references. But it may have been Fuzzy Zeller who said something about after Tiger won the Masters, like he cracked a joke about next year, because I guess the winner picks the menu or something, that they're going to have fried chicken and collard greens and watermelon. It's like, and it's like, by the way, I'll eat all of that. Thank you. That sounds delicious. Like, was that the worst? But Caitlin Clark is really getting a lot of grief. The point is, Blake, the newcomer comes into the league, and it's like, you can be jealous all you want, but don't you realize what that extra money is doing? It's adding eyeballs and advertisers, ticket sales, merchandise sales, memorabilia sales. It is boosting the value of your entire league, which will spill into every one of your contracts. But this league, this WNBA, seems too stupid to understand that. And I've actually called for Caitlin to consider this. Caitlin Clark, listen, let me just get this out there. I haven't been watching a lot of sports content lately, so maybe others have made this point, but I'm going to say, because I've said it weeks ago, perhaps you might want to take the offer from Ice Cube, who runs his own basketball league. Go make a few million and leave the WNBA without you. If they don't want you, go take your eyeballs and your interest elsewhere. You're a free agent, kiddo. There's a way you could get out of that if you could say, hey, I'm here to play basketball, not get beat up. This isn't for me. I retire from the WNBA and renounce my rights, and I'm going to go play with Ice Cube in this other exhibition league, Blake. What say you about that? That would be an unprecedented move. Just, screw you guys, I'm going home. I'm going to take my basketball and go home.
Yeah, I guess. She should be allowed to go do what she wants to do. I don't know if there was a contentious thing where she was not going to be eligible to play for the WNBA or something if she decided to go on this exhibition run with Ice Cube and crew. I'm not exactly sure how that all worked. I don't follow it too much. I mean, the only reason I know anything about it is just because Caitlin Clark has been a phenomenon and has, garnered, national attention because she's such a great player. I mean, I even watched, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes worth of NCAA Women's League just because she was there in the finals and in the tournament. And yeah, she's incredibly skilled. So I've seen some of her work. It's very impressive. And yeah, the league is not too happy. Now, I don't follow it closely enough to have that much of an opinion on it, but I know Clay Travis is a sports guy.
Yeah, what did Clay have to say about this?
Well, he put out a very controversial statement saying that Caitlin Clark is being targeted because she's a white heterosexual woman in a black lesbian league. So I don't know. So I would curious. So here's they are actually we're celebrating on the bench when she got into this foul, which was.
Can you rewind that?
There's Caitlin. Yep, there's Caitlin right here. And then boom, she gets hip checked to the ground. And then the people, the other girls, the other.
And that's a dirty play. That's off the ball. It's a dirty play. It's not in the heat of going up for a rebound and elbow hit her in the temple or something. Like that's just right. That's a dirty play.
Yeah, it's a flagrant foul. She wasn't fined much. I mean, I don't think these ladies make very much. What is Caitlin making? Like 70-some grand or something? But she's getting her huge endorsement deal from Nike, which is where she's making her money.
Surprised Nike's going along with them.
It seems they're pretty. They're angry. They don't like seeing this new superstar, and they would rather just sit in obscurity, I guess. So yeah, they haven't really thought it through. So yes, they're celebrating a flagrant foul. I don't remember seeing. I followed the NBA quite a bit this year because the Timberwolves were actually pretty good, but I don't see some. Not used to seeing these sorts of things. There are flagrant fouls, but I don't usually see the other team like celebrating, like, yeah, you got him. Maybe I'm wrong. Brian, you followed the NBA a lot longer than I have. I know it was a lot more aggressive back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could go back. I mean, what was it? Was it Kareem that just cold cocked somebody in the early 80s? And maybe that was late 70s, early 80s. And Bill Laimbeer and the Bad Boys, the Pistons into the Rodman era from the 80s into the 90s. Some people look back on that nostalgically, like, oh, that's when basketball was a good old sport. That's when I liked basketball. It's like, that's not basketball. That's football. It's not basketball. That's MMA. You want to foul somebody, you put them at the free throw line. Like, you want to watch the most talented athletic people do talented athletic stuff. You don't just want to watch people get elbowed and broken noses. Now they don't get to play all season. Like, what does that prove? That's hockey. That's hockey. That's not basketball. Now, has basketball gone a little too far into the flopping territory? Well, that was a result of not getting calls when people like Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James were getting hit in the face every single play, and the refs weren't calling it. They're like, you're big. You can absorb it. We're not going to call it. It's like, then they started flopping to try to draw the attention. Yo, I just got hit. Like, call the foul. I'll sell it if that's what it takes. And then they get criticized for selling it too much. So I don't know. I don't look back fondly at the early, mid to late I guess all of the 80s there. I covered early, mid, and late. It's just, it appears as though Caitlin Clark is being targeted. That much is obvious to me. Are you able to, oh, there we go. Let me just pull this up real quick. I did find this. Want to bookend I guess Fuzzy Zeller did say something else.
I remember that.
What's that, Blake?
So I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't remember this part of it. So I got to close a window to get to this window. Hold on. I can't play it. Where did it go? Oh, that's weird. There we go. Now I can find it.
Brian, how many tabs do you have open? How many tabs do you have open? Just out of curiosity.
Doggone it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 39.
Why would you have 39 tabs open? And then you've got like a million like icons on the bottom of the screen. I've actually seen Brian's computer. I'm surprised you can function with all of those open programs and all of those open tabs.
The icons open are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 38. And then there's 5 other things open at the bottom.
Brian wonders why he's got tech issues. Right. Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, here's Fuzzy Zeller.
Well, pretty impressive. Little boy's driving it well. He's putting well.
He by the way, he's criticized for saying that little boy is driving it well and putting well. I mean, but he's like how old was he? 18. He was very young. He was a little boy compared to this old grouch. But I don't know. Some people wanted to turn it racist, and then of course him mentioning chicken and collard greens. Let's play it again.
Quite well. Pretty impressive. Little boy's driving it well. He's putting well. He's doing everything it takes to win. So you know what you guys do when he gets in here? Pat him on the back, say congratulations, enjoy it, and tell him not to serve fried chicken next year. Got it. Right. Or collard greens, whoever the hell it's.
Not to serve fried chicken or collard greens or whatever the hell.
Forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I might go over well. Boy and talked about regional food. Oh no, he didn't get hip checked when this guy got out of his cart, not rolled him down into the pond or something. Like they are harming Caitlin Clark on a daily basis. Like they are going after her aggressively. You know, I'm not saying anything's really raised to the level where her career could be impacted, but you know, it's something Caitlin needs to think about. Jocelyn here says, "What? The league is very happy. The story has gone viral. When was the last time so many covered women's basketball? No such thing as bad publicity." Yeah, and then that other girl, that jealous girl with the eyelashes, the angry, jealous one with the fake eyelashes.
The angry, jealous lesbian.
Is she a lesbian? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just going statistically because Clay Travis says there's like 70% lesbian. I have no idea if they are or not.
Clay Travis says 70% of that league is lesbianic.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's a big number. That seems a little. What is the national average? I guess that's changed.
5%? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You hear the kids coming out of high school now. They've been so scrambled that the numbers.
Oh yeah, nowadays it's probably a lot higher.
Yeah, it might even match that 70 for all we know. They're really pushing that. But yeah, Jocelyn, it's a strange thing what they're doing. It's punching yourself in the nose to spite your face. So yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to watch. It is drawing attention to the league, but the WNBA better be careful. You know, if the worst that PGA Tour did was called him a little boy and said, "Yeah, don't have him bring fried chicken and collard greens next year." Oh, the humanity! Oh,
well, that was like a stupid, ignorant, dumb take. That you would see some of these like older, like racist guys at the old country club. But yeah, it didn't go well over on camera, and I think that was probably the end of his career, wasn't it?
Oh, Fuzzy, I don't know, but I mean, in comparison, you're like, well, you know, Tiger Woods was not getting abused in the locker room. They're smashing into him in the shower area. They knocked him onto it. They gave him a hip bruise before their next big match. Like Caitlin Clark is getting hit on some pretty cheap plays, starting to rival what the Pittsburgh Steelers do on a yearly basis. So it's something to keep an eye on. And yeah, Clay Travis definitely with an interesting take there. I'm going to keep following the Caitlin Clark thing only because I can't get away from it. I don't care about lady basketball, but people are talking about it, so we'll talk about it. But I think the more important thing that's going on now that people are talking about before we get to Biden in France on the last topic here. You want to talk about
the last topic? That should have been like the first or second. But that's all good.
The avian flu or Biden pooping his pants?
Biden. Sitting on the invisible chair. What the hell?
Okay, that should not be the number one story that we're getting into. I think we'll talk about this one. Are they ready to bring in some sort of new pandemic through testing so that they can do lockdowns and try to repeat what they did before?
Yeah.
All right, Blake, agree or disagree? It's time to worry about avian flu testing and lockdowns.
Yeah, I guess they're going to come out with this at some point. I'm sure they're going to do the same playbook and that they ran in 2020, the old pandemic. Oh, sorry, we're going to have to do mail-in voting again. Or actually, they're going to do internet voting. They'd rather not do mail-in again either. So I think it's going to be part of a move. It's going to be a desperate maneuver at the last minute. I'm sure they will. They got to do something. They want that lockdown again if they can get away with it. And then they're going to have more Pfizer jabs to sell you too.
And they make $700 million in commissions that we know of. That number's probably much larger.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of money to be made on those. It's a business.
Yeah. Well, let's tell you a little bit about this. Peter Sanford putting out here the breaking news: the WHO has announced the first death from avian flu in Mexico, a 59-year-old man. The new pandemic is here and will spread quickly, and World Economic Forum and World Health Organization are still forecasting 30% death rates possible. Expect further announcements about the potential need for restrictions and lockdowns in autumn of 2024. My comments on the 18 to 30-year-old male immigrants filling a new private army to control the public were taken down due to copyright issues after more than 50,000 views. Oh, so, there's a lot of accusations out here, and now they're saying that there is, bird flu vaccines that are being prepared, and now someone has died of this. We need like a PCR test or something to start testing everywhere and shut everything down, Blake. This feels like deja vu all over again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. So they're gonna, spread the fear. I just hopefully people don't go for it this time. I mean, it was easy in 2020, but can they run the same play? I mean, they'll tell them to run the same playbook over and over until it stops working. And it worked so well in 2020. Oh yeah, there we go. You get your fear videos and your scary music.
Yeah.
Oh,
there it is. They're showing birds. Dead birds. It must be time to shut the world down again. And why are these birds all being killed? Like, do they really have what they're claiming that they have? We've seen how they'll treat beagles. You think they'll care about birds or seals?
No. Gee whiz. What is that? It did look like a seal. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, okay. We need to remove the food supply. We're going to throw all these birds in a bag and then go light it on fire. Like, they're actually doing this. And these are the scare videos that they're putting out.
Decimating wildlife. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, well, they're certainly they're going to try. Why not? But yeah, we'll see. So I guess one person died in Mexico. He was morbidly obese, acquired type 2 diabetes, was confined to bed, and had complete kidney failure. And but they said, must have been bird flu, kind of like the COVID. Like, oh, okay, yeah, all these people with just horrible health problems and whatever, or they have car accidents, or it was always COVID. Let's check another look here. The World Health Organization, according to Wall Street Silver, saying is running a scam on bird flu. He's in the hospital 3 weeks, bedridden already for other reasons. They used a PCR test, which also may result in false positives, just like COVID did. We've got 194 World Health Organization member states have agreed to begin arrest. I don't know if this is a legitimate source or not, so just take this with a grain of salt.
You're not saying that it's accurate. You're saying what other people are reporting.
Well, I don't know. Is the People's Voice community? I don't know exactly. The People's Voice TV. This could be legit. I haven't vetted this out, but they're saying they've agreed to begin arresting and prosecuting citizens who speak out against the bird flu jab as part of tough new measures to stamp out misinformation. But again, I can't confirm that this is real, but I'm certainly they will. They set up COVID camps in Australia, Canada. Lock things down. They wanted to force everybody to take the vaccine. You couldn't criticize it. But here's one from Thomas Massey. We know is a good guy. It says, have you heard this one before? This is Dr. Birx again, saying this strain of bird flu is so dangerous that nobody knows they have it unless they get a PCR test.
Well, they're doing it again. They're literally doing the exact same thing again. They cannot get away with this again. They're not doing this again. We are not tolerating this again. We will not comply. We flat out refuse.
You will take the PCR. It's either going to go up your nose or up your butt, but it's going to be done. So here you got to trust the science, Brian. Let's listen to Dr. Birx.
We're not testing to really see how many people have been exposed and got asymptomatic.
Can you hear that? It's really low volume.
It's a little quiet, but I mean sometimes videos are quieter than others.
Okay.
Infected. We should be testing every cow weekly.
Wants to test every cow.
You pull PCR. We have the technology. The great thing about America is we're incredibly innovative, and we have the ability to have these breakthroughs.
Does she run the company that makes PCR tests?
We could be pool testing every dairy worker. I do believe that.
But they just want to kill all the cows that come back with a false positive or a big deal whoop-de-doo positive. They just want to kill all the birds that we're eating. They want to kill all the cows. No milk, no meat. Oh, okay. How about no? How about no?
People were going to the drive-thru and they were getting tested in the window, shoving stuff up your nose.
Imagine having no symptoms and going to get tested anyway. Oh, I can't believe they got away with what they got away with. And Fauci deserves his day.
Well, hey, if they fall for it again, then they deserve whatever happens to them. They can take the swabs and they can take the jabs. And
yeah, but that gets back into us traveling. That gets back into shutting down entire industries. There's no more Caitlin Clark. There's no more basketball. Oh, by the way, there's no more NBA finals. By the way, there's no baseball. By the way, there's no football coming up. Just let's remember again. By the way, schools aren't going to open. By the way, your elderly parents, they're going to be sent off to a hospital and they're going to be restricted. You can't be there with them in their final moments. You can't sit 6 feet next to each other at a funeral home. Blake, we are not doing this shit again. We are just not doing it.
Okay, well, we shall see. Should be an interesting fight again. You're going to be wearing your masks to go into grocery shopping again. Yeah. Stand 6 feet apart. Or you can travel and you get the you'll have the stewardess on there whose job it is to make sure everyone's wearing their mask.
So you have to be in a perpetual state of eating and or drinking at all times. So if somebody walks by, you go, okay. You just kind of, when you see the stewardess start to move around, you just make sure there's a glass there. And you're like, okay. And you do the slow sip. The slow sip.
Yeah.
I know that makes for great audio for the people listening on Spotify. By the way, subscribe to the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify. Get for all your podcast needs. Okay, I want to play this for you. This is Dr. Peter McCullough. He's working with the wellness companies on his shirt there. I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe getting a package of some essential medicines. But let's see what he had to say about the bird flu.
Said in 2021 that bird flu is the next disease X. And now World Economic Forum, WHO, CEPI, the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation, CDC, all have bird flu positioned as disease X. That is the next pandemic. And they are doing everything they can through messaging to raise public awareness as well as fear, Alex. What we know is highly pathogenic influenza H5N1 influenza current clade or specific strain is 2.3.446b. So we got it down to exactly what it is.
I'll take his word for it on that.
What we've learned, Alex, is this is a version of this that was gain-of-function research. Gain-of-function research doing what's called serial passage.
And who did the gain-of-function research? That's right, Fauci.
That is keep trying over and over again.
And who lied about it? Fauci.
To pass the virus.
And who got away with it? Fauci.
And to make it more dangerous.
And who got rich off of it? Fauci. So that's what Dr. Peter McCullough is saying, that this it's right here. Disease X. It's already here, Blake. I mean, it feels unbelievable that they could be really trying to run a reboot of this movie again. I mean, I guess since they got away with it the first time, why not try it? Are they really going to try to rig it so Biden gets another? Like, they cannot pull this off a second time. This will not happen a second time. They got away with what they got away with 4 years ago. It's not happening again. If they think they're going to push for this and have some magical circumstances that allow them the cover they need to pull a stunt like this again, they're not, Blake. They're just not going to get away with it. We know more than we knew last time. We saw more, and we've caught them in all of these lies. I don't know if Fauci's going to eventually face justice, but he certainly deserves to.
We'll see.
All right. Okay,
so people love it, man. They love the idea of just being ordered around by the government, and they love shaming people who don't go along and taking the pandemic seriously. So we'll see. I've lost most of my faith in white hat rescues and, you know, the American people waking up and, you know, all of that stuff. So nothing really would shock me at this point, but just flood the planet. Let's just have God come back and just, nope. Start it all over. Great reset. There you
go. Go listen to that song Anima by Tool. I want to see it come down, suck it down, flush it down. It's about the Earth's axis tilting, and now Arizona Bay is the coastline. California's been swallowed up on an Earth shift. Pretty brilliant song. Okay, we're gonna hit our last topic.
Last topic.
The day. It's his favorite topic. It's the one he's been most excited to talk about.
Joe Biden is hour and 18 minutes. Right.
Here we go.
Allegedly. Are you running a stinger, Brian? I'm waiting on you.
Clicked it. It was supposed to. Try it again.
Okay.
All right. So D-Day now stands for Disaster Day or Diaper Day or Dookie Day. Blake, agree or disagree that Joe Biden puked his pants in France at the D-Day event? That rhymes. Agree or disagree?
Yeah. He pooped his pants in France. It was a historical day. Let me pull up a couple stories here.
All right.
And so, I would agree. There's some people are saying that he was trying to sit on a chair that he thought was there, but I'm not buying it. Other people are pointing out that I don't have any kids, Brian. You don't have any kids, but apparently they're saying that's how toddlers. Let's just get to the story. First of all, he was in France. Joe Biden, Resident Joe, in France making speeches about D-Day, but he mentioned, he's talking about killing Russians. Supposed to be killing Germans. Russians were actually our ally in World War II, but Joe Biden has dementia. So he messed that up.
All right, so he wasn't talking about killing Russians today and making a parallel because he's backing Ukraine against Russia. Like, he just screwed that up, or he went on a tangent about Ukraine and Russia?
No, he's just talking about D-Day back in the day, World War II. But then he mentioned instead of saying Russians, or instead of saying Germans, he said Russians. So here we go.
They've inflicted on the Russian aggressors. They've suffered tremendous losses, Russia. The numbers are staggering. 350,000 Russian troops dead or wounded.
Or is he? Is he talking about Russia now? I don't know. Yeah, Russia was our ally in World War II. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. And everyone's just like awkwardly applauding, but it doesn't make any sense.
And it's the angry Biden again, the cartoonishly angry Biden. I don't know what drug they pump him full of that makes him angry, but you can tell when you got angry Biden. It's energetic, angry Biden.
Right. But then
that's the opposite of this version of Biden.
Right. Things took a strange turn. So Biden almost collapses after the words at the celebrations, and they're saying, is he downloading in his diaper? So Joe Biden again reminded the world how mentally and physically unfit he is for office by randomly crouching down during the war celebrations in France. Here we go. Let's roll clip. Actually, I'm going to roll it from here. Off of Twitter. This will be easier. Here's 12. It says, President Biden just pooped himself. This is the exact same motion that this guy's toddler makes. Too bad it was on stage at a live ceremony right after he spoke to Macron. Whispered. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he's his handler and he whispered something in his ear. But here we go. Let's watch this clip.
The leader of the free world.
Yep.
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J.
What is he doing here? He is crouching down.
Distinguished guests,
as if to
please welcome the Honorable
something out of his body.
It's sort of, at first glance, it looks like he's trying to sit down
Lloyd
on a
J.
chair. But then now that you say it the other way, now I'm seeing it that way. It's like, what's that word that they say it two different ways, and if you hear it one way,
so double entendre or something. I don't know.
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J.
Yeah, so he's having himself a nice poop up on stage, and then if it was an invisible chair, that's fine. Maybe he didn't notice. But then they quickly ushered him out, which just obviously confirms why would they have to rush him out of there unless he pooped his pants.
It's Green Needle and Brainstorm. Green Needle, Brainstorm. Depending on what you read, you hear the exact thing that you're reading. So I saw him sitting and I saw him shitting.
There you go. So this one's saying the drug cocktail team has done all it can do. The limits have been reached, and they aren't pretty. See, if they gave him enough heroin, he would get constipation. I learned that from Pulp Fiction. But clearly, he was on more meth. So he had to leave to go change his diaper, we assume. Here he is. And look, you could look how disoriented he is standing next to his crew there.
Disoriented is a good.
Does not look like somebody who's a leader of the free world, a powerful man. He has no idea where he is. It's like, dude, you're in France. You just shit your pants. And you have no idea where you are. Your drugs are wearing off. They need to change your diaper and get you some new drugs. So there was
Jocelyn says that Biden is angry in this speech because Russian drug dealers stole another of Hunter's laptops with his first son doing crazy effing sex. End quote. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like 51 intelligence officials might not have wanted to let somebody so blackmailed, bribed, and compromised into the highest office in the land. It's almost like that might have been a bad idea that everybody could have seen was a horrible idea, and nobody in their right minds would go ahead and push except for the deep state. I don't know. Who am I? Just a guy watching things and seeing what's super obvious in front of me?
Yeah, it's what's so sad about this, Brian. I mean, I said that we have to point this all out. I don't even care if he pooped his pants. I'm just saying, why aren't people realizing that this guy is clearly unfit for office?
I see it. I still think he's going to get swapped out. I don't know. Is it going to be Michelle?
Swapped out like a dirty diaper that he just pooped in.
Is it going to be Hillary? Speaking of dirty diapers, just as appealing to the population, Barack's significant other, or Hillary, or Gavin Newsom. Yeah, those are all like steamy diaper options. Like, there's nothing good going on there.
No.
So, all right, yeah, it's shocking to see that they do wheel him out from time to time, and it doesn't really go well ever. It's why he doesn't do press conferences. You can talk trash about President Trump, but every day during that pandemic, I remember watching it, he'd do 2 or 3 hour press conferences every day. For the longest time, it was every day, 1 to 2. It was like every day at whatever o'clock they'd roll out and have their press conference, and he'd mention effective therapeutic drug options. And then they'd say, "Oh, you're going to have horse paste? Seriously, y'all don't have horse paste." And you're like, there've been like billions of doses of ivermectin given. It's won Nobel Awards for like great medicine. But now it's horse paste and they're stupid for taking it. It's got like side effects that are almost like the same of taking something light like an aspirin or an ibuprofen. It's done so much good. It's almost like it couldn't possibly hurt. Why not try it? Well, why not try it is because if there's effective therapeutic options, you won't be forced into taking the jab, and Fauci couldn't make $700 million that we know of. I bet you that number is about 3, 4, 5x. Because remember, we didn't pay for it. The government paid for it. And then they had to pay those companies for it. And because they printed so much money to give them all of those things at the same time when they shut down our economy, then we have a rampant inflation. So everything is crappy like we have it now. These are called repercussions and ramifications of really bad decision-making, Blake. And they're ready to try this again. They're ready to try it again. Okay, any final words, final thoughts? Your next show, tell us about your event coming up. Tell us where to find you online. Any other odds and ends or special things you'd like to mention, Blake?
No, we're perfect right under that 90-minute mark. I'd love to keep it under that. Yes, so the archive is always on the nextlevelnews.com. You can follow me on Twitter, X, at TV's Blake Walley. And I will be in Spruce Pine, North Carolina this weekend, joining Mike Barra of Ancient Aliens and Dr. Brooks Agnew at the Spruce Pine Alien Festival. So if you want to come out and say hello, that would be awesome.
Heck
That's
yeah.
where I will be, Brian. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody.
I hope you do a live show. That would be super cool. Like at some point throughout the weekend. I mean, it doesn't have to be any particular time. Just whenever the three of you have a little bit of downtime, like take the opportunity. That'd be so cool. So yes, go check out Blake. And if you want to assist him in funding independent journalism, he's on Cash App. That's $ Blake W 99. All right, Blake, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you again soon. You have a good one. Be safe.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
All right. There he goes, everyone. Blake Walley, TV's Blake Walley. Make sure that you are following him and such. Also, I want to thank you for joining today's program. This is the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media. My name is Brian Engelman. Thank you for being on this journey with me that I've been on for the past roughly 13 years or so. There are places I ask that you follow us. The old school places, please start there. YouTube.com/@TheNewAmericanMedia. Hit subscribe. We have 1,500 videos there, millions of views. Please check out the last 13 years of content. Also, 2 backup channels for YouTube. Rumble. Go to Rumble and find thenewamericanmedia.com and hit subscribe. Please do that. The backup to Rumble, it takes everything off YouTube and duplicates it. It's Odyssey, Odyssee, Odyssey.com. Follow the New American Media there. Because at some point, you just got to assume Google, YouTube, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, they will delete our content, our channels, our groups like they did before. So please follow us in the alternative channels, including Truth Social. Find us, The New American Media. On Spotify, the Agree to Disagree show. That's our podcast. Hit subscribe. On Telegram, that's our backup for Facebook. It is TNAM, TNAM, and the New American Media. What is it? TNAM and TNAM Chat. I'm sorry. TNAM and TNAM Chat. On X, we're at American_media_. On Facebook, do a search for TNAM's The Agree to Disagree show, private group. Enter the group and say, how did you find the group? Say, Brian sent ya. Also find our page on Facebook, The New American Media, and our page on Instagram, The New American Media. If you would like to support us, you could send me something on Venmo at Brian Engelman. That's BrianEngelman. Or if you'd like to sign up on Patreon, we have that going on a monthly thing. You could kick us $5 a month, $15 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month. It's all good. Anything you can assist us with, it does help us get to more events to deliver more content to you. So thank you so much for participating in what we do here at the New American Media, because the old American media has failed. So signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the chat rooms, Kenneth and Jocelyn and special guest, let's not forget Blake Walley. Thank you so much. Until next time, we appreciate you. We love you. And we'll talk to you.